for all my adverts when I'm testing. So I'll run 4 ads or campaigns, whatever you want to call them, for 5 days, and I'll tell you why I do that. So Facebook ads is very confusing for a lot of people. You need to be patient. You need to be very patient. So day 1 of your adverts, right, are going to be very, very expensive because Facebook hasn't optimized your adverts yet. So the cost will be high. And people always quit, usually, at this point. Because they'll start an advert and on day 1, day 2, day 3, it'll be very high. Your cost per action will be high. Your engagement cost will be high. Everything will be high. And people are like, well, how am I going to make money? I'm not going to make money. So they quit or they just don't do it anymore. Because they don't understand how Facebook ads work. So between the first day and the 4th, 5th, or 6th, just any of those days, there's no specific day. It works on different niches, different adverts, different people. But between those days, it's always high. Okay, and then maybe on the 4th day or the 5th day or the 6th day, the cost will drop dramatically. Okay, it will drop so far, and you'll start to get cheap adverts. But people never get to that point because they quit too early, because they're scared to spend the money to get to this point. Remember, my budget, like in the example that we talked about before, is 140 New Zealand dollars. So 106 US dollars. We'll just stick to that because a lot of you guys are from the US. So I'm willing to spend $106 to get to this point, to my optimized adverts. Now it could take 4 days, could take 5 days, it could take 6, but we're going to go based off 5. So if it takes 4 days, then obviously you're going to have your budget's going to be lowered, and you're going to have a little bit extra money to spend on the next step. But that's how Facebook works. Okay, day 1, day 2, and day 3 are usually always very expensive. I've just put day 1 here because that's the most expensive day. And then it gets lower and lower. And then on the 4th, 5th, or 6th day, it will drop dramatically. And you'll be like, wow, this is nice and cheap now, okay? But as I say, a lot of people never get to this point, so they don't get to experience that. The next thing I want to talk about is, let's say you get to day 5, okay? So I've done my testing, and I'm at day 5, and I've spent $140. I've got 4 adverts, remember. One of them gets 2 sales, and let's just say the cost is kind of average or low. I then keep it for 3 more days. I get no sales, but it's low cost. So if my advert's really low cost, low clicks to websites or low post engagement, stuff like that, I'm going to keep it. Okay, I don't care about click-through rates or any of that, because all I care about is the engagement of the post. If it's website conversions, I just leave it because there's nothing really to go off. I don't care about click-through rate. I don't care how many people click on the link, because all I want is sales. Okay, and all it takes is 1 or 2 people to click on that link and get some sales. That's all I'm looking for. So sales are my main indicator on how I optimize my ads and what I do. But if I have no sales but I'm getting low cost, I'm going to keep it for another 3 days. And I'll tell you why in a second. And then if I have no sales and high cost, I'm going to kill it. And then if I have 2 sales and high cost, or 1 or 2 sales, I'm going to kill it as well. But because it either makes no money in return for me or a low ROI, return on investment. Now, a low return on investment really depends on what you think that is. To me, it's like 10, 20%. I don't want those sort of stats. I know for a fact that people get 1,000% return on their investment, 200, 300, 400. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for 20, 10, 5%. I'm looking for big return on investment. Because let's say I have one ad that's converting and I'm getting 10% return on my investment. There's not much room for error there. So if I run that ad and I keep running it, and then let's say I run it for 2 days, 3 days, I go on holiday, or I don't check it for 2 or 3 days, and the sales stop, then my 10% ROI all of a sudden goes to minus 50, minus 100, minus 200. Okay, there's no room for error there. But if my return on investment is at 1,000 or 800 or 700, and then my advert starts to slow down or I stop getting sales, it doesn't really matter, because let's say I go away on holiday for 2 days, I'm on a plane for 24 hours or something, and I lose a bit of ROI. It doesn't matter because I've already made quite a bit to make up for that. But if I'm at 10 or 20% ROI and my ads start to turn to crap on me, and I'm on a plane and I can't check my ads or turn them off, and then I go to minus 20, minus 30, minus 40, minus 100, then there's nothing there to kind of back me up if that happens. But if you have more ROI, then you have enough there to back you up if that does happen, if that makes sense. So I want high return on investment adverts. That's all I go for. I'm talking like 400-500% type stuff, 1,000, 1,500. It's possible. I see it all the time. I get it quite often. So that's what I want. So I kill all my adverts at this point after 5 days if they have no ROI or low, like 20%, 30%. I don't want those ads. But if I'm getting sales up here and I have good so let's just say I get 2 sales and I spend my so 140 here would be split at, let's just say I make 100% ROI, I'm going to keep it because I can when I scale I can make that better because my ads will be cheaper as well. So let's say I keep these 2 here. So my low cost one and my one that's made me some sales, let's say cost is kind of average here, low to average, that's still good. And then I keep them for 3 more days. So I'm going to sink another $42 into it for another 3 days. And we're going to go to 182 New Zealand dollars. Then what happens is we are now at, we're now at day 10 at $182. So this is what people don't understand. Facebook adverts actually take a long time to do, right? You can't just jump on and make 20 grand overnight. It doesn't happen. People say it happens, but it just doesn't happen. Okay, you actually have to let Facebook optimize it for you, then scale it up, and it can take 2 to 3 weeks, And then we're at 182. And let's just say my advert 1 and advert 2 on day 3 are still converting well for me, right? There's a few things you can do. You can multiply the ads by different ages and, add another age or different state, add another state if you're advertising in USA, or you can do other countries. So you're basically just multiplying them and changing a few things. You don't want to change it dramatically because then Facebook will try and re-optimize them again. Or if you don't want to do that, duplicate the adverts and increase the price. Don't change the original ones that are working for you. You want to keep these here. Okay, these are your safe zone because these are making you money at a low cost, okay? You want to keep these exactly the same as they are. Just leave them. Because if these mess up on you or these mess up on you, you can always fall back to these 2 adverts that are making you money. This is very important. Keep these adverts, these 2 that are performing well, or 3 or 4 or whatever you have, depending on how much you want to test or your budget, okay? Or duplicate the advert and increase the price slightly. Okay, so if you have these adverts running at $7 a day, do these at 13 or 14 or even 10, okay? Don't go from $7 to 100 or 1,000. It doesn't work like that. And you can lose all your money. I don't know why, it just doesn't work like that. You need to increase it in small amounts. So you could go 13 one day, maybe leave it for 2 or 3 days, go to 20, then go to 30, go to 40. And your lifespan of your adverts will last a lot longer. And what I mean by that is, I'll cover that in a second actually, but your adverts will last a lot longer. And people don't understand that one campaign can last you for months. It can last you for months. That one campaign can make you a lot of money. So that's all you need. And that brings me to the next slide. So this actually doesn't bring me to the next slide, but this slide is about failed testing, okay? So if you have a failed test, change the product first in the niche if you can, and then as a last resort, change your niche, okay? So always change the product. Now, what happened to me not so long ago, I found a trending product. It was a hashtag that was trending on Facebook. It was some sports t-shirts, a sports star. So what it is, I found some sports t-shirts on AliExpress based around that person. And my first campaign, I lost $200, okay? That was my testing budget. I lost that. I changed the product, I lost another $200. I then changed the product again, so I changed a different color, different design, or whatever, and I lost another $200. Then on the 4th test, I made $13,000 in profit. So that's what I mean. I changed the product, and on the fourth time I changed it, I made a lot of money. And these adverts were actually getting quite a lot of engagement. So I knew there was something there. I just had to find the right product, the right color, the right design, whatever triggered these people. And I made $13,000 in profit. So the point is I spent $600, but I made my money back. So you just need that one simple change or that one tweak that makes you money. A lot of people will lose that $200 and they'll quit. That's it. I don't want to do Facebook adverts anymore. I don't want to do Shopify. It doesn't work. It's a scam or something, right? I get those emails every single day. But that brings us back to this slide, is they quit when the cost is high. Okay, because they don't understand how Facebook adverts work. If you don't understand how Facebook adverts work, I suggest you do some research before you try this method, the Shopify and Facebook method. Now to the last slide. Don't let numbers distract you, and this is what I was talking about. All you need is one campaign to make you a lot of money, okay? So if we go to this here, we'll just open this up a bit. This is the first ever course that I watched on this method. It taught me quite a lot. I will leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. But as you can see, these guys have all the numbers here, so $1,000 a day, right? 500, 900. And if we go down here, this guy made $55,000 in 30 days. People instantly think that these people went onto Shopify, made a store, went onto Facebook, and their first campaign they made all this money. What they don't understand is all of these people probably had a lot of failed campaigns before they got these winning ones. So these guys that are making $1,000 a day, right? Their first few months, they might have lost a ton of money. They might have lost $2,000, $3,000 just in testing, or $500. And then what happens is they find that one campaign that starts making them all this money. I bet you all this money right here is made off one winning campaign that has multiple adverts in it. Because what they've done is they've tested, they've tested, they've probably lost a few times, they've failed a few times, and they've found the right campaign, and they've scaled it up by multiplying the adverts and changing some dynamics in the adverts, or simply multiplying it and then upscaling the price a little bit, like I mentioned in the last slide. So don't get distracted by numbers when people show you screenshots of hundreds of thousands of dollars in a couple of months or stuff like that. Sure, they've made that money, okay? No doubt they've made that money, but I bet you they've failed a lot of times before that. They've spent a lot of money before that, and that's something that people always email me about. This person made this much money, why can't I do it? They made that much money, but we don't know if they made that much money before. We don't know if they lost a lot of money before. This guy, let's just say, for instance, this guy's made $500 revenue in one day, okay? Let's say he's had his shop going for a couple of weeks and he's made a few $1,000s. We don't know that maybe a month before that he tried and he might have lost $2,000 or $3,000. We just don't know. So what I'm trying to say is just don't get distracted by numbers and think that you can jump into Shopify and Facebook and get these numbers straight away. It doesn't work like that. You're usually going to fail multiple times on Facebook adverts, especially if you don't know anything about it. But if you have the right niche, the right product, then your chances of getting these numbers very fast are very, very good. Okay, your chances are very good. So before we really end this, we'll just go over this real quick. I like to just go back over. So testing, you have a budget, run it for 4, 5, 6 days. You'll know when it's optimized because your price will just go down real fast. It'll jump. So let's say you're getting 20-cent cost per engagement, right? It'll go down to like 5 or 6 or something on that day, and you'll know that Facebook's finally optimized your advert. And then don't fall into this trap, okay? If the cost is high, just write it out. Trust me, you'll love it when you get to these optimized days and your ads are running at 1 cent, 2 cents per click or per engagement. It happens all the time, and it's so satisfying because you know that now you've got room to work with these adverts. You can put more money in, or you're not spending 20 cents per click anymore. Don't be the guy that quits here. Trust me, you don't want to be that because you're going to miss out on opportunities. Next, once you get to your optimization day, whether it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you've hit your budget, simply pick out your adverts that are winning and keep them for another 3 more days, 4 more days, whatever you like, and then increase the budget by a little bit. Well, you won't be increasing it, but it will increase itself because you've added on more days. Then kill off the ones that are not working for you. And then once you get your working adverts, and let's say they're still working, cool, you can multiply them into different ages, different states, different countries, different relationship statuses, all that type of stuff. Or you can simply, to stay on the safe side, duplicate them and increase the price of the advert, increase the budget small increments. So you want to definitely just don't do big ones. So turn your $7 advert into an 8, 9, 10, 20. Well, no, 20 is too much. Don't do that. Sorry. Just stick to either double or under, and then you can start increasing it to like 20, 30 a few more days after. Okay, and remember to keep these ones the same. Don't change them. Don't change the original adverts. Just keep them. And then, yeah, this is my failed test that I made $13,000 profit on, but I lost $600 beforehand, okay? So be prepared to lose money, but you're always going to make it back if you have a winning campaign, and you're going to make it back tenfold. You're going to make back a lot of money. All you need is that one winning campaign. So now we'll go into Facebook itself, and I'll set up an advert and just basically run you through what I do, find the interest and do some interest stacking and all that good stuff. So before we get into this, I just want to say that you don't need massive budgets on Facebook. Just because I use $200 for testing per campaign doesn't mean you need to. You can do it on 50 if you want. You can do adverts at $1 a day. It really just depends on how much time or patience you have, because the less you use for testing, the longer it's going to take for your adverts to optimize. So what I do is I will use $200 per campaign, and then I will go to about 4 or 5 campaigns before I decide to kill it. So what I'll do is, if the first $200 one fails, I'll change the product or the color of the product in the advert. If that fails, I'll keep going. Then maybe at number 4, if that fails, I'll just cancel it. So I would have spent $800 and I'll cancel it. Now a lot of you think, well, why would I waste $800 on that? Because if I do get a winner, it could be potentially huge. I could make $100,000, $30,000, $10,000. But I'm not saying you have to spend that type of money. That's just what I like to do in my products. Now, if I get to the point where I've spent $600, $800, and I still haven't had a successful campaign, I'm pretty much going to change my niche. There's no doubt about it. That's the point where I'm like, I need to change my niche. I've just wasted all this money, and then I'll find a niche where I can make some money and basically try again. And usually, 9 times out of 10, I'll make money off that second niche. But I'm at the point now where I don't have a lot of failed ads, apart from the one a few weeks ago, but that was a trending topic and I hadn't really researched it as much as I should, but I still made $13,000, so it was a winner in the end. But yeah, just to clear it up, you don't need a ton of money. I would say probably $100 would be good minimum for your testing to really get some good results, but it doesn't have to. It's you don't need a ton of money. Now, with this, you can search little, dog breeds and all that. There's lots of options, so that's why I've kind of chosen this. But I'm going to show you 2 ways that I would set up my ads, the way that takes the longest and the easy way that doesn't take long at all. And let's just have a look at the ad here. Very easy ad. So, do you love pugs? A limited edition pug paw is on sale. Tag a friend who has a pug. I always ask the question, and then I add like limited edition and sale, and then I always, no matter what, add the tag a friend who has a pug. I get so much more engagement when I do that. How Facebook works is the more engagement you get, the more sales you get, the more people interact with your post, the cheaper everything is with your advertising. If you have a post that is up for a couple of days and you get heaps of reach but no engagement and no sales and stuff like that, the cost isn't going to come down. It's going to come down a little bit, or it might even go up, but it's not going to come down a lot to the point where you think that you should be continuing on with the advert. So first I'll show you the kind of like the longest way to do this. What I would do is go over to Audience Insights. So Audience Insights here. And I would put in the interest, and then it's going to come up with like all the interest here, okay? And affinity is kind of like the highest it is, the better, because it's more related to your topic. So I would pick a bunch of these and put them in a text file. Then I'll transfer it over to my advert when I'm creating it. And I'll check out all these and see if people are engaging. Now this is the more precise stuff. Okay, it takes a lot longer, but it's more precise, and you've got a better chance of really narrowing down your targets. But you don't need to do that. There are easier ways, and I'll show you how to do that, which is what I do now. I don't really do a lot of this stuff. I do if it's a niche that I think is going to be hard, but if it's a niche that I think is going to be really easy, I don't bother with this because it takes quite a long time. And by the way, a lot of you ask why I use my girlfriend's account. It's because my accounts have a lot of adverts and I don't want people seeing them, and it takes so long to blow them out. So I use an account with nothing on it, and it's just easier to follow that way. So to start the adverts, I always use the Power Editor. It's just a lot better. And and then you'll have your campaigns, your ad sets, and your ads, where you actually create the ad. So we're going to create a campaign. We'll just call it Pug Test 1. We're going to do post engagement, create an ad set. We'll just call it the same thing, and create. Now we have them in our little sections on the left here. So the ad set is actually where you're going to be multiplying your stuff if you have a successful campaign. And this is where you edit everything. So we're going to go with $7, like we talked about. I'm going to schedule this just because I'm not going to be actually using it, so I don't want it to run up a bill. I always go down first. I always go down and change this. So I get rid of Instagram, news feeds, and desktop right column. So a bit of an interesting fact: if you do news feeds and mobile, it's pretty much 90% of the time you're going to get your stuff from mobile, your views, because Facebook is showing that a lot right now, showing mobile users pretty much all the adverts. So I just stick with that. You get way cheaper clicks than if you do desktop feeds now. Mobile is pretty much taken over the world, so just stick with that and you'll be good. Then we're going to go with location. United States, I usually always go with that. You can still get 1 cent clicks, 2 cent clicks. It's a myth that you can't. You just have to know who to target. We're going to go people who live in this location. And then what I'll do now is the interest, okay? So Pug. But what I do, so I will go, I'm not going to do any big ones just yet. I'm just going to go, I'm going to stack up some stuff. So I'll go Pug Lovers, which is 410. I'm going to do all. I think, I'll do all for this one. But I'll just show you something quite interesting before I carry on with this. The age will impact your reach big time, okay? So I'm going to go 23 to 27, and you'll notice my reach has gone up to 350, and before it was, what were we at before? We were under so we're 270. Now I always do 22 plus. Maybe we'll do 21. Anything over 20, I get more buyers. And we're going to go 27 here. And I've got a reach of 360, which is quite good for Facebook now. It used to be a lot better, but they've a lot better than that. But they've changed quite dramatically now. And then I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to go, I love my pug. And the audience is at 110. I'm going to go there's not really many massive, like Doug the Pug. I don't really want to get that one because that's just like a fan page of a pug. It's not like a pug page. Then I'm going to go, actually we'll stick to the 110. That's quite, no, actually I do want to add more. That's not very big if we start to get, so Pugs Not Drugs, still 110. Could maybe stretch out if we go 30. But yeah, I don't really want to drag this video on, so I'm not going to go too in depth with this. So we can get 140 out of this. I'll just stick with that, okay? And then we've got our mobile news feed here, post engagement, everything's all good to go. And I've only got 3 interest. You might think like that's not really enough, but it is. You can get, I've even got massive campaigns just off 1 one single interest that's like, reach 400,000 people and all of that type of stuff. 140 is quite low, but I mean, 140 people is still a lot to get in front of. Plus you're going to have all the organic stuff as well. So this could definitely work if you were doing it. And then I'm just going to, and remember this is just the testing stage, okay? It's not crazy targeting just yet. Now you're on to the ad. So make the ad, add the page, add the post. And just to make sure it looks good on mobile, this looks pretty good. I would like the link up there, but I could go back and edit it, but we won't do it for this. And make sure your your tracking pixel is got the green light next to it. And then you just go to review changes and continue. Now what I want to do is go to add set, duplicate, and go create a new campaign, pug test 2. We'll do post engagement again. So now we're on, so this is the pug post 2 one. I just got to edit this as well. Pug test 2. Let's just create new there. I'll leave it at $7. I'm going to leave it on United States. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the age a bit. We might do, so 29, we might do 30 to 35. Oh, it's a bit low. We'll do 27. There's like a sweet spot, so that's pretty good. It's going to be quite low now, so 310. Maybe we'll add some more interest. So then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of these ones. And I just randomize things. That's all I'm doing, because these are just tests. So now I'm just going to go straight pug. Massive, 310. I might go, see what I mean? Like there's different things you can do. Beagle. So if you want to do it, you could run a test on Beagle or Poodle. There's so many different dog breeds you can go for, right? Now I'm just going to run straight pug. Not super targeted, but remember this is just testing. I've had situations where a single interest has just smashed any other of my adverts that I've had set up. We're going to go 27 to, we might up it a bit more, 27 to 33. Yeah, so it's at 330 is pretty good reach. So that's another one we can add. So I'll just add that one as well. And I'll do one more ad, just so you kind of get an idea of what I do. And done. And then I'm going to duplicate. It doesn't matter what one you duplicate. I'm going to change it anyway. Create a new campaign. Pug test 3. When you name this stuff, it's obviously better to put on the ages and put what you've done just to keep track of things. This one we'll do post engagement as well, or maybe we'll just stick to post engagement, but you can do your conversion and stuff like that. Test 3. Now this one I'm going to do some stacking, and I'll show you what that means. So stacking is when you stack interests. Okay, you just stack them up high. So I'm going to do pug. I'll take away pug for now, just so I can get up some other ones. I'm going to do pug. Love my pug. It doesn't matter if it's the same as some of these, because I'm probably going to do a different age. Pug's life, not really. I want to kind of do ones that are, so hugs, not pugs. Everyone loves a pug. It's all good to add small ones in there, but I usually try not to. Definitely not none of these ones. No. Pug rescue is probably okay, because they'll be quite passionate people about pugs. Pug rescue here. So I'll just quickly finish this up and stack up a whole bunch of interest, and then come back and we'll have a look at what I've got. Alright, so what I've done is I've added quite a few interests here. Sometimes I stack a lot more. But you just need to remember that this is a testing stage, okay? You don't really know what's going to work. There's really no precise blueprint for the testing stage. It just comes down to your preference, what you want to achieve, and the niche that you're in and stuff. And you can also narrow down your audience. So if you want to do like people that like pugs and jewelry, you could do that. Or you could do people that like if you're advertising gaming stuff, a specific game and a specific console. So that's pretty cool. You can really narrow it down now. But just remember that if you do that, your audience is going to go down a lot. It'll almost be in half. But yeah, that's really how I do it. And then if we could mess with the age again. So we've got 330 now. We can maybe do 26. What will we get? 360. But that's all I do for the testing stage, guys. There's no secret to it. Just a bunch of randomness, and then that's gonna basically that's going to determine what I need to do in 5 days or 3 days. So let's say that, for instance, my 5 days is up and we have one winner. We'll delete these. We have one winner, Pug Test 3. Let's delete the rest of these other ones to make it a lot less confusing. So let's say Pug Test 3 is our winner, right? I'm going to now duplicate it. I'm now going to run it for another 3 days. And then if it's still winning for me, I'm then just going to dupe. So this campaign will now become my main pug campaign. Right? And I don't really mess with the interest too much. What I do is I go to ad sets, and I'm just going to duplicate this one. Not delete. Did I delete it just then? I'm going to duplicate it, keep the same campaign, and I'm just going to do like I said, I could up the price a bit, so we'll do $9, and I'll leave everything the same. Okay, and then I'll just name this one Pug Price Increase to $9, just to keep track of things. $98, right? Crazy. And then I will do an update on that. Okay? That actually deleted the other ads, so what we'll do now is we'll actually duplicate this again. Keep it in the same campaign. Change this back to 7, and I'm going to change this to main buffer ad. I call them buffer ads, my main ones, because I always fall back on them. So this one's going to be making me money constantly, and I don't need to worry about this one because this is the ad that has been winning for me the whole time, right? So that's my main buffer ad. This is my $9 one that I've had an increase from my main buffer ad, and then I'm going to do another, duplicate my buffer ad again, keep it in the same campaign, and then I'll do something like change the age slightly. So I might go 21, was on 27 to 26. Okay, that's all it is. It's just, and then just editing that. So I'm just going to now do this pug. What are we? 21 to 26. Okay, and then I'm going to update that one. Just wait for it to update here. And then another example is I might do, I don't know if we'll get much out of these, but I might duplicate this one again, and same campaign. And I'm going to change I might do, instead of USA, I might do like Los Angeles, and do a radius of 50 miles. and my reach is a lot lower, but then I'd have to add, you know, my New York as well. But you kind of get what I mean. Okay, this is just an example. This obviously isn't an ad. And then now I'm up to 84. And you know, add San Francisco. That's all I'm doing. And we're going to go 50-mile radius. So now we're up to 91. Okay. And yeah, that's all it is that there is to it. And then I'm going to change this to 3 states. Okay, I'd usually put LA. I'll put LA, New York, and San Francisco there. And that's it, guys. That's how I do my ads. Doesn't need to be complicated. Doesn't need to be confusing. If you want to do more precise targeting, then I suggest go through here. Will probably work out better for you in the long run. But for all you newbies and beginners, all you need to do is go through the Power Editor. I recommend using this. It's a lot better than just the standard Facebook advertising platform, like our dashboard. So as you can see right now here, I've got one campaign. So out of all my test campaigns, I had a winner, theoretically. And then I have my main ad, and now I've multiplied that 3 more times. So I'll watch these closely. And then even if these fail, I've still got my buffer ad here that's making me money. So do you see what I mean now? I've now got an ad making me money that I know is going to work. And even if these fail, I can simply cancel them and then multiply this again if I want and keep trying to make more money from it, because Facebook's already optimized this advert for me. This is my main advert now that I can work off and use to do different variations of more ads. So you need to get 2 or 3 good ads going, 1, 2 or 3 good ads going, and then you can use them as your adverts to make more adverts.